We just finished our 6th week of homeschool in this 2025-2026 school year. This is about the time where I kind of slow things down a bit and reflect on what we've done and figure out what is serving us well and what is something that maybe should go. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jamie. This is Simply Learning Together, where I love sharing about resources that we love as well as just experiences we have in our homeschool. I'm a mom of 4 and my kids are ages from almost 5 to 11. And this is our 7th year homeschooling. I usually love to school for about 6 weeks on and then take a week off. I've got notes here to share with you because I didn't want to forget anything. So I thought that I would first maybe just think of like something really great and then maybe share something that we've been struggling with. And then I want to go through some subjects that I'm reconsidering, I should say. So something that I've loved is just having a free schedule. Last year we had a different situation in our home where we had certain things at certain times and it made it a little bit harder to do our schooling. This year, our schedule is a lot more free during the day, which is a positive for me. It's been a really big blessing. The other thing is my family subject chart. I've shared about it in some of my planning videos, but this has been a new thing this year. I'll share a picture of it with you here. It has really been a cool thing. It takes a little bit of work at the beginning, I would say 15 to 20 minutes, but I just really love the accountability that it brings to me. And I also just love seeing what we've accomplished because I think as homeschoolers, we are easy to feel guilty or feel like we're not doing enough. And this really just kind of gives me a boost of confidence, like, you're doing good, you know? And so I have really enjoyed this. I didn't know if I was going to continue it, and I really think I am. Okay, so those are just a couple of positive things that I've enjoyed. Some of the harder things this school year, number one is I feel like every year before this, we've really been able to finish by lunch and have had the afternoon completely free. And this year we don't. And that's been really an adjustment on my heart, also my kids. So just kind of accepting the fact that that's not happening, it has been good. It has helped with the rush factor. I think because I was able to finish through lunch, that in previous years, sometimes I'm like, okay, let's go, because I want to get it done. But now that I know it can't happen, I tend to have a little more relaxed mind throughout the day. So there's some good and bad about that. Okay. And the other thing that has been kind of a struggle for us is our co-op has a homework for my older girls. So they have graded work, which I think is great that they get to experience that. But holy cow, that is new for us. And I feel like it has been such an adjustment. We still quite aren't used to it. Not that we can't get it done, but it does, having the pressure. You do feel a little bit of pressure to do certain things by a certain time, and that is new in our family. But good, a good new. Hard things are good. So I would say, kind of, if I was just to give an overall view of the year of so far, that's kind of what sticks out in my mind. All right, so let's talk about specific subjects. I will say that we started slow and then we added in all the subjects at about 3 weeks. Once we added the subjects, it took about a week and a half to 2 weeks for me to realize, whoa, something has to go. So I was reflecting and figuring out what is really bringing us joy and what is something that I can let go of. Because I do think that we tend to hold on to things because we bought them. And I was in a moment where I said, you know what, something has to go. So, and the reason I felt that way is because by the end of the day, I was just at a completely different level of exhaustion trying to get all the things done. And it was feeling like some of the subjects that we were getting to, it was kind of like, just hurry up and let's get it done. You know, and I don't want it to feel like that. I want it to be like an enjoyable learning process. And I always also kind of think about how I feel as I approach the subject, because if I'm approaching a subject that I'm about to teach my kids and I'm just dreading it, it's very possible that they're feeling that same thing. And so I just kind of have to think to myself, is this serving us in the way that I thought it would? So we're going to get to all of those here. One of the first things that I let go, which I'm actually really kind of sad about, I don't think I had this in my curriculum pick video because I added it in. I bought these books for like $3. They were on sale. And I thought this is going to be great for my two older girls. One is 11 and one is 9. And my 11-year-old has worked through the other one of this series. This is Meeting with Jesus. I set a goal to do 3 a week. I felt like that was a doable goal. However, I wanted it to be independent. With one of mine, it couldn't be independent because she still needed a little bit of assistance with reading and finding verses. So then it became something that was a little just too much to try and add in. And honestly, I feel awful. I feel awful saying that because this is a devotional and this should be a priority. So I've struggled with these feelings. However, we are reading the Bible daily. We are practicing scripture. We are learning apologetics in our morning time. We do a family devotional in the evening. So it's not like this is the one and only thing that she's getting as far as looking into scripture. So as guilty as I felt, I decided to let it go. And because I let it go for her, I did let it go for my oldest as well, because she's balancing a lot more work this year than she has in the past. And it is graded and has to be done. So we're just putting this to the side for a little bit until it suits us better. I'm kind of bummed to say that. And like I said, there's a little guilt behind that, but I'm just trying to do what's best. And I feel like if I take something out and I'm irritated by it, or if my kid feels like this is the most annoying task because, you know, and I don't want them to feel that about a devotional. I want it to be something that really touches their heart and makes them think. And it wasn't serving us in that way. So my goals were not reached with this, and I'm sad to say it, but we didn't make it very far. So this is going to be shelved for a little bit until we are ready to do it independently for both of my girls. Let's talk about math. Math has been great. I have all 3 of my girls on BJU math right now, and it's been going really well. The 6th grade math is definitely a challenge for me because it's just, you know, higher math, but I am learning alongside her and it's been going really great. We started the year with the long division chapter because we were already in it a little bit from the previous year. And that was actually really tough to start the year with long division. Long division is just so tedious. And I started to think, oh my gosh, did I make the right decision? I should have put her online. It was taking her a long time to do work and it was doing a long time to do lessons, but I think it was just the chapter. So, you know, if you are struggling in your math subject, maybe ask yourself, is it the chapter? Is it long division? Because once we got past that chapter, we kind of just could feel a weight come off, and math has been so much better. So math is going well. Language arts, we are using novel guides. These are novel guides that I create, and I can link one down for you below. This is something I've been doing with my oldest for multiple years. This year I am adding in my 9-year-old, so she is doing it with us. It's going wonderful. It's the supplemental things that are challenging me. So for my oldest, she's kind of doing the same thing that we've always done. But my 9-year-old, I added in some supplemental stuff because I felt like she needed it. She struggles a little bit with spelling and writing, and I thought, okay, maybe we just need to practice it more. Maybe repetition will help. So I was trying to do it daily. I don't think that was the right decision because I think it became just this almost like a pest of our day. Like, we have to get this done. I added in a spelling practice workbook for her and a daily grammar review for her, and also a phonics review. And we were trying to do those every single day, all of them, along with the novel part. And it didn't take long for each. I mean, I would say probably 5 minutes for each, which doesn't feel like a lot. But when it's this everyday thing, and when you already kind of have a struggle trying to get stuff done, it just didn't work. And I felt like the best decision was to split it up in the week. So one day we're going to focus on phonics and reading aloud to me. The next day we're going to focus on grammar. And another day we're going to focus on spelling. She can still practice her spelling throughout the week, but it'll just be, it'll give me an opportunity to have a lesson with her and teach her about the words of that week or whatever it is. So I've done that the last week or two, and that's kind of been a little bit smoother, and it kind of allowed a little breathing room. And also I just think it makes it more enjoyable when we're not trying to shove all of them in. I also will say that I chose dailygrams for her because that's what I did with my oldest child, and I'm not sure that's the best fit for her. She does do well with repetition, and although dailygrams does repeat what you're learning, it's just little tastes of it. I'm not sure that that approach is right for her. It works great for my oldest because she is one that you can, she just soaks it up like a sponge and then she can go. But with someone that needs consistent practice over time, it's not going as I thought it would. So honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't purchased anything. I'm going to keep going with what I'm doing, but I'm looking into possibly finding something where we can just sit in a skill for a minute. So for example, can we just practice nouns again and again until we get it? Does that make sense? Then can we move on to verbs and practice until we get it? I'm wondering if that's going to be a better approach for her. So that is something I'm still thinking about. Like I said, I haven't made a decision yet, but I'm leaning towards possibly taking a different route with her. Also, and I should mention this, I have a video about some grammar books, Fix-It Grammar versus Easy Grammar. And Easy Grammar is what Dailygrams comes from, what I'm talking about. It's not really the lesson book, it's the review book. So, I mean, that is probably why you wouldn't want to use it as your only workbook. But it worked for my oldest, and I thought I could do it too, but kids are different. It's just something I got to learn along the way. The other thing is the phonics booster cards. I use the reading booster cards from The Good and the Beautiful, which I love. They're great practice. I was trying to do them with 2 girls 3 times a week, and it became a mess. I wish I could just sit them down and do it together. But you guys, in the nicest way, I'm just going to say that these siblings are in a clash right now. And I can't put them together at the table and work together. There's also, it's tricky when one is much younger than the other. It's hard for the older one to see doing the same thing as the younger. Maybe you've been in this boat before. I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, these are real problems that are happening in my homeschool. And so it's becoming difficult to do it with both of them. My younger one is actually really just thriving in reading. She is 6. She caught on super quickly. And I don't think the phonics booster cards are absolutely necessary. I think it's consistent practice, but I don't think she needs it. I think that she will just go on reading. I mean, she's reading chapter books at this point, and she just wants to read. So I feel like I was doing it because I thought I had to, and I think I'm going to let it go for her. And instead, just to kind of give her some phonics practice still and some spelling practice, I'm going to add in Explode the Code for her, which I have mentioned in another video. I'm really not a fan of Explode the Code. I think it's busy work. But I'm going to give it to her because I think she thrives with busy work. Is that bad to say? I just do. I think she's the type that she just wants to sit and learn, and she just wants to do it. And, her day goes her school day, like what she has to do for school, is so quick and easy. And if I were to drop this reading phonics cards, I feel like I barely would be doing anything with her, which is fine. She's 6, but she can totally do Explode the Code and be just fine. And I think it would help her with her writing, as well as spelling. And then she can also be practicing phonics, and she'd be able to do it independently. So I think I'm going to do that for her. I have used Explode the Code with a struggling reader and writer in my family, and it did not go well. That kind of busy work is a just literal explosion waiting to happen. You know what I mean? So it's just the kid, you guys, it's the kid. And yeah, so I actually have an Explode the Code workbook on the way. I tried to figure out what level she would be at, and I picked it, and hopefully that's the right one. And I'm just going to challenge her in that way and maybe just do a couple pages a week. And then I know she's still getting phonics practice. She's getting some writing practice and some spelling practice. So that's my plan for her. Let's talk about history. We are using Mystery of History. I chose this because my co-op is using it, and I'm actually teaching the class at my co-op. And it's been going really great. I'm really not a fan of textbooks. Would I have chosen this if I wasn't in a co-op? I don't know. I just really love picture books. But it's been good so far. And the thing that has been better as we do go through it is an audiobook. I purchased the audiobook thinking we might use it here and there, and I find it better if I just use it every time because I am tired by the time we do it. I've been talking and reading all day long, and my kids are probably sick of listening to me too, to be honest. And so it has been really pleasant in the afternoon after lunch, and we clean up. They get coloring pages or paper or something. I make a cup of tea, and I sit there and I push play and we listen about it, and I pause every so often and we talk about it, and that has been really great. So history has transformed to audiobook history, and it's really been wonderful when we did that. So it's not to say that I won't ever read it, but right now that's been great. And there is one day in the week that we have to do it in the car. So it turns out to be nice because we just constantly hear this lady's voice, and you know, now it's like we're used to her. So that's a little history update. Let's talk about science. I was going to do this Apologia, zoology. And the only reason I was going to do it was because my 9-year-old was in the class at our co-op, and I thought, why not make it easy and make it a family study? And if you've seen my video that I just posted before this, you will know that I went to plan the science lesson and I couldn't do it. The content in this text is too much, in my opinion, and I did not want to read this to my little ones. Honestly, I didn't even want to read it to my 9-year-old. I almost pulled her from the class, and that was a real struggle for a good solid 14 days. Like, just, Lord, do I keep her in this class that I despise? Because not only was it hard to get the content to her, I purchased the audiobook for that, but she also has the notebooking journal, which don't even get me started on that. That also she has to do. So it has been this thing that I've been going back and forth about. So she is still in the class and doing that, and I feel like I have been led to give her this challenge and help her do it. As far as my little ones, we have completely dropped the textbook and we are doing science through picture books. So if you think that sounds fun, definitely check out the link below, Science Through Picture Books, because it has been an absolute dream. Just the other day, I was stressing out about getting things done because we had been out of the house, and I went, oh wait, I just have to read a book. It was so easy, and then it was fun, and it was peaceful, and really just great. So it's been really good. And my 9-year-old, she is thriving. This is her favorite class in the co-op. So I say all these things because I think sometimes we get in our head and we're worried about what's happening. But look, we've got a good fit for my lower two, and then she is thriving, loving her class. So, you know, patience and prayer is really the answer to that. Okay, 2 more things I'm going to quickly talk about. Number 1 is, I told you kind of at that 4-week mark, I said something has to go. Then I unfortunately chose to let go of our geography. And I'm really sad about this because I thought about this for a year and a half, wanting to do it with my family, especially my oldest. And this is the Simply Charlotte Mason geography. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I finally decided to do it, got all the supplemental books to go along with it. It just became too much. It's not hard. The map work is actually really lovely. My kids loved it. The reading that you do with it, the readings are quite long, so it was hard to get my little ones to kind of stick around for that. And I felt like I was like reading, blah, 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 just like trying to read fast. My oldest, that was her favorite part, was the readings, but she's 11. So it was just, it's easier for her to listen to that. And ultimately, I just had to think, what is extra that is unnecessary. And if you are familiar with Mystery of History, there is map work in that text. Every week, there is some type of map for you to look at, and in her guide that she comes with, because I teach it in the class, there is work that you can do in the maps. And so I thought, you know what, if we're getting geography through that, then why am I stressing about adding in this other? So my daughter actually was the most bummed about it. My other kids haven't even noticed. But my oldest, she was kind of bummed, and she thought, well, I'm going to do it on my own. She has so much stuff she's trying to get done that it hasn't happened, but I am hanging on to it because, you know, we might use it in the coming years. It was really nice when we did it. And I felt like I learned. We didn't even get to America. We only were in Canada. But you know what? I knew nothing about Canada, and now I can tell you some of the different parts of Canada. So I feel like that's a plus. We did learn something from that, but we did say goodbye to this. So another thing in my morning time, I decided to have kind of like a rotating loop where I mentioned this in my curriculum pick video. I wanted to do a composer study, and then when that was done, I wanted to do a picture study, like artist study, and then I wanted to do Shakespeare. I love our composer study. I did a video on it a couple weeks. I'll link it here. It's been going wonderful. We're going to finish it up. I think next week it'll be 7 or 8 weeks. I guess that'll be week 7. I'm not going to add in a picture study after that because I need to let go of some extra things, if that makes sense. We've done picture study in the past, and I absolutely adore it. My kids love it. We have so much fun with it. I even know which kind I would get, which curriculum I would get. It's just, at this point in our year, it's trying to balance all these things, all this newness with the co-op and the teaching and the homework and the quizzes, like just trying to kind of get our feet solid. And so just unfortunately, I have to let go of some extras until I can feel like I have a better stand on what we're doing. So that's not to say we won't do it later in the year. It's just not going to happen right now. So once our composer study is done, I will have that space opened up, which I think will be really nice. And as far as Shakespeare goes, I feel like instead of doing it in our morning time, I'm just going to probably fit it in with my older kids' language arts, which we did that last year. I did kind of a Shakespeare unit with my oldest, which was so fun. Okay, last thing is a subject I'm struggling with. Okay, so I'm not saying that I'm going to let it go, but I'm going to be real honest with you, is this is biblical worldview. I was really pumped about this, and let me tell you what's going on. The content is great. I really like sitting down with my oldest and being forced to talk about these things. Our conversations are really good and meaningful, but it does come down to just one more thing, which is hard to say. I originally tried to do this twice a week, and that was just too much. So I cut it down to once a week. Then I thought they have an activity book that comes with it where you can write answers to questions. Then I let that go and said, we're just going to read the lessons. The lessons are really quite long. And even for my 11-year-old, by the time that we get to that end of the day where we need to do it, it just feels like a lot. It feels like a lot to sit down and read. And sometimes it's heavy stuff. It's been hard to do. So I'm not giving it up because I really do love the conversation that's coming from it. I don't want to call it unfortunate. Some people could probably use it independently. If I gave this to my daughter, she could read it on her own. I just feel like the content is so much better with a parent and child discussing. Like, I feel like I can instill so many values that I want her to know while discussing these topics. So I feel like I have to be in it, and I have to be, on top of it, ready to talk, ready to discuss. And right now it's at the end of our day, and that's been hard to do. So I'm just being honest. I'm not going to give it up. I'm going to keep trying and see how that goes. It's a maybe. But for now, we're going to stick with it. All right. So I think that is a look at everything. If I felt like that was a lot of things that weren't working, but I hope you can see it was like little pieces of things. We have a lot of things that are working. I love the way our schedule is set up. Math is going great. I love our morning time and the chart that we have and the things that we've been doing. We love our co-op and the community that we've made. And yeah, so tons and tons of good things, but definitely some things that I'm kind of like, okay, I need to make shifts to try and make this smoother. So I hope in sharing my experience, maybe that could make you think about some things. That's just always my goal here. I don't ever think that I'm the expert or doing things right. I just think sometimes it's important to share strengths, but also weaknesses in this journey that we decide to homeschool. It's not easy. And there are times where we're going to have to make tough decisions. And I kind of feel like I'm in that right now. So this week is going to be just kind of getting a hold on what we're really going to focus on. And I'll be researching some different things that I think might work a little bit better. And I'll also be cleaning my house because I feel like in the last 6 weeks, I've not been as good at that as I want to. So maybe coming up with a cleaning plan will be good. All right. Yeah, if you have questions, leave them in the comments.